sports is more than just gaming.
It's just a really good way to meet new people who are interested in the same thing as you.
It gives them a good sense of sportsmanship and teamwork.
The big goal with Ken Garff Esports is to introduce these students to industry. We want to show them that they can take their interest and passion and turn it into future opportunity.
And it's open to everyone. Encourage students to sign up for Ken Garff Esports today. To learn more about success in education and coding programs, visit SIEUtah.org.
Did you know that the average teenager spends nearly 7.5 hours on their phone every day? In that time, you could watch a 2-hour movie almost 5 times in a row, or ride a roller coaster at a theme park 45 times, or fly to Hawaii and swim for an hour. You can make the best use of those 7.5 hours by spending 5 minutes of your day on the Keys to Success app. Keys to Success is a mobile app and website that rewards you for exploring your future. See you soon!
Welcome back, everyone, to the Ken Garff Esports Fall Festival. I am Vaudable, and joining me yet again is Blue Blazing for week number 4, and we have a lot on the docket for today. But before that, Blue, how you doing? It's been a couple weeks since last time we spoke together.
It has definitely been a couple of weeks. From that moment, I've gotten a new mic set up and everything, so hopefully it sounds pretty good to y'all
There we go.
in the audience. But hey, I've been doing good. I had a birthday 2 days ago, so I mean, it's been nice. It's been nice.
Happy belated birthday there as well, and we're on kind of the halfway point of this season, so it's a birth of a new half of the fall festival itself, and plenty of stuff we got to talk about for that as well. But before we get into what happened last go-around, what's happening this go-around, we got to give you all an update on how the format's going so far. 6 weeks of Swiss-style play for 3 different divisions, 1, 2, and 3, from 5A, 6A high schools, 1A, 4A high schools, and middle and junior high schools for those divisions. The top team from each of those divisions will move on to play in the eSport Finals at the Spring Celebration. Speaking of that, we'll talk about that in a little bit of time. But we also got to talk about the last Friday's regional event that was for the Ken Garff Esports Fall Festival, and that happened at Utah Valley University. More than 200 students from 14 schools gathered to compete and learn about UVU. Special thanks to UVU for hosting us, and to Kathy Garff and UVU's President Tumenez for speaking to our students for that. And the tournament winners, if you were wondering who came out on top for all 3 of the titles, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was Pleasant Grove High School, SSBU or Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Provo High School, and Provo High School also won the Rocket League event there as well. So we're excited to see those teams compete on March 10th at the Huntsman Center and keep the competition going from there, Blue.
Whew, that's honestly, it's gonna be an insane matchup at the Huntsman Center in March. Definitely, if you have the time, have the ability to go and check these amazing students out. They've been training all year, and these schools have been at it for quite some time. So it's gonna be a thriller. It's gonna be an amazing event. So make sure to check it out. But also speaking of March 10th, it's a great day, as the Spring Celebration is also open to everyone. Whether if you're a esports finalist or not, come with your esports club, bring your friends, bring your family, cheer on the top 8 teams in each game. We'll also have other opportunities for students to play, as well as competitions in the coding, cybersecurity world. Wow, cybersecurity, wow, that's amazing. And exclusive University of Utah behind the scenes. And can I get some behind the scenes tours, and can I get a drum roll, please? Doug Bowser, president of Nintendo America, will be their keynote speaker. So make sure you mark your calendars, so cool. Reserve those buses, and plan on being there, because honestly, you won't want to miss this event. Everyone.
We have a lot more to talk about for that too. Everyone's invited to attend, as you were mentioning. We saw 200 students at the last regional event. We have more regional events to talk about, but we have some time until we can get into those specifics. We got to talk about today itself and the 2 teams that will be facing off against each other. The first one that we have is Cottonwood, trying to see how they can come out, win it this best of 7, and here is that roster. And I know, Blue, you got a little bit of insight on the ranks. What can we expect from this team going into this matchup?
Definitely. I mean, Cottonwood is a little bit of a distancing in ranks. Some of them got champions, some of them got grand champions on this roster. So we're going to see a lot of high ball action and a lot of force and momentum with this team, no doubt.
Oh, I'm excited for all the aerial play, too, because a lot of these times, depending on the ranks, we've seen more grounded play styles, and it makes sense if you're more comfortable being on the ground, going for whatever you can, and not really necessarily relying on your mechanics that you use to carry your teammates in ranked all the time, because you got to keep everything cohesive for your team, depending on what rank they are going into these matchups. But we also have East High, which is apparently the place that High School Musical was also filmed at, so shout out to them for that. But we have Fancy Honk, or let us know exactly how we should pronounce that if you are in the chat, Toasty, and EPTF4. I'm loving these names. They got some originality out there, and hopefully they can bring that onto the field, Blue.
Oh, absolutely. Hopefully they're all in this together for this match coming up against
You were
Cottonwood.
holding that one on.
I was holding it. I was wanting to use it.
Oh.
Ooh.
It's going to be great. I mean, it's another best of 7. Last go around, we got halfway through into one because we had some mix-ups going on with different connections, and that's the way things go for high school. Sometimes things are working out pretty decently, sometimes they aren't, but we are now seeing a full best of 7 series like we did the first broadcast. We had a couple, I guess actually a month ago now. The Fall Festival has been going on for quite some time, and there's only 2 weeks after this week remaining for that, so eventually we'll be knowing exactly which teams are going to be making it all the way to that March 10th event, which is pretty cool to see itself. But when it comes to not really knowing too much about the ranks of East High here, specifically Blue, hopefully they are somewhat similar to Cottonwood, but looking at the chat right now, the chat's all rooting for Cottonwood. So maybe we could expect a lot of great things from them in this series. And I love the Sovereign Heights that we're seeing here for our first map.
Oh, and I love it. And already a great start from Cottonwood as Matthew takes it 1-0.
What a goal. And there is the aerial mechanics that I told you to look out for when we were seeing a team comprised of these kinds of ranks. Almost at the top, SSL is the top, then it goes down to Grand Champ and then Champion. You aren't as familiar with the ranks in Rocket League itself, but Cottonwood High, they are definitely familiar with whatever they need to do to get the victory. They're going to do it. They did that to get that first goal there, Blue.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Matthew already on a strong start, keeping the control for Cottonwood. And, I mean, as a unit, they're just looking like they pass a lot. They play off the walls. And as you're mentioning, those high aerials are going to be a huge factor in them in winning this game. But not a lot of known information about East High. I've seen research a little bit about them. Some champions, some great diamonds on that team. So definitely not a opponent to just think that they're an easy target. Definitely an opponent to watch out for. But, ooh, Cottonwood is as well. Hydro finding number 2 for Cottonwood.
Well, you said they had some Grand Champs and a Champion. Looking at that tag right now, Season 7 Supersonic Legend. So we have a legend in the building at Cottonwood High, and they're not the Legend 27, but they're the legend necessary to get that second goal. You might see some more from Hydro on that, and I feel like I've seen this player out there on the rank grind in some other people's streams, so he's definitely someone to look out for on the field. Matthew is looking pretty solid, doing that algebra in his brain whenever he goes up for the ball and just calculating like a master.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Darkin looking for another aerial play. Gets a 50-50 on Toasty. Could be good for Matthew, but the 50-50 defense from East High is definitely holding back here and trying to get this going. A minute already into this game. Already a lot of action as Cottonwood has gotten those first 2, but I mean, I don't know. This series is still a toss-up for me. I can't guarantee Cottonwood is going to be the deciding winner off those ranks they have, but hey, I'm rooting for East High to say, bring me something. You gotta bring me something, East High. Let's see these goals.
We're seeing some solid maneuvers, at least from East High, to try and go and challenge a lot of these plays that are happening. And Fancy Hawk, one thing we talked about the last go-around at the Fall Festival is that defense really is what a lot of teams need to figure out in their rotation. We're seeing some great rotations out of East High, but when a demo happens, it makes it a bit more difficult. And Hydro, he's going for some freestyle clips right now.
Oh, I'm seeing that. Not a lot of boost though to go for that freestyle, so that could be an unfortunate play for them. But East High not willing to control this ball here. Matthew trying to go for a midfield pass to Hydro. Hydro for the shot, but beautiful block by Fenzahong.
We got the Egg fans in the stand and in the chat rooting for Cottonwood High. They're doing pretty solid for themselves. They got those first 2 goals in the opening half of this game. Speaking of the opening half, it's almost gone. It felt like it's been a couple more minutes since then, but no, we're only at the halfway point of this game so far, Blue, and East High still looking for their first goal.
Wow, that is intense, honestly. I cannot believe half the game's already over, but you are darn right there. I mean, East High definitely needs to get something past their half. Looks like they're starting something here. EPTF4 trying to go for something, but that wall play not going to cling to his car, and it's just going to go back in the hands of Cottonwood. It kind of feels like a game of ping pong at this point. Cottonwood just kind of banging the ball back towards their East High side, keeping the control as well. But this could be an opportunity for East High to get something. Looking like Cottonwood is just playing the time to win.
That's exactly what they need to do. They don't need to go pedal to the metal. They don't need to get, what was it, like 10 or 14 goals that we saw one time, and somehow that was the record we've had up to this point, which is just crazy to think about. But Cottonwood High, they're all about class, and right now class is in session. Matthew is the one teaching the defense exactly how to score a goal.
What a better name? What a better name than Matthew? Honestly, just teaching them all the angles. Like, we're going to geometry, ladies and gentlemen. Let's sit here.
As aces on all the subjects that is necessary for you to be a good Rocket League player from what we're witnessing up to this point. But we need to see what they can do to shut down East High even more. They've had some solid advancements on offense, especially off the kickoffs, and that's where you have to take your time when you have those opportunities that are given to you, especially when you're down a 3-0 deficit. Very difficult for any team to come back. But if there's an opening like that, you need to take it, and no, they could not react in time. Unfortunate, but it happens to the best of them.
I mean, we're looking at it here. If you're saying it completely true, there's so many there's not many, but there's openings that Cottonwood is bringing to the table, as we saw that double commit in the air. Just East High really needs to take advantage of that if they want to bring this back in the next minute. But let's see if they can. It's one-on-one against Hydro here. Toasty tries to bring this ball across the corner, but it can't quite get through him. Hydro's just playing his positioning very, very well, and it's working out pretty good for him.
Working out pretty solid. East High, they're still maintaining this deficit pretty well for themselves. I mean, obviously you want to try and get a goal and tie things up as best as possible, get those 3 goals, but it's very difficult based on the mechanics we are seeing from Cottonwood High. So the fact that they've been able to keep them at bay as best as possible, even when we're seeing shots like that, somehow doesn't go in. Saved yet again, but oh no, it goes off the upper 90 and out.
Hey, we love the 4th defender when you can get it. East High is definitely maximizing that 4th defender, but 20 seconds remaining. It's going to be grim, to say the least. East High really needs to find a close goal right now, or something to start up this next game. You know, a nice celebration goal, like, hey, we can still get this game, or get this series in our hands, but with 5 seconds remaining, and Cottonwood having control of the ball, I don't believe they're going to get that goal.
Doesn't look like it, but speaking of goals, we do see Hydro put the final nail in the coffin for game number 1. And I'm starting to believe what Twitch chat was saying, because they were saying, you know, Cottonwood, they're going to do great. They're going to go 4-0. I'm like, okay, maybe. But looking at their ranks, looking at the titles, looking at their place, it's hard to knock that positivity and also how they are building their team up going forward here. But we saw a lot of saves. Not a lot of shots. I think we saw, what, at most 1 or 2 come out of that East High team. So we need to see them get more involved on offense, but also maybe position themselves a little bit better on offense there. So yeah, we saw 1 shot from Fancy Hawk, and he got the most saves on his team. So doing a lot of work. Maybe they need to just hand the ball off to him when there's an opening and hope that he could slot it into the back of the net. That would be the winning strategy for them to at least get their first goal in this series, Blue.
No doubt, and definitely stopping that offensive momentum from Cottonwood. I believe they had 11 shots on that East High net, so that is just that's 10 shots more than East High in the situation. So definitely, you know, stopping that midfield pressure, getting that boost control, and just pushing as much as possible on that Cottonwood net is all you can do at this point.
Well, let's see exactly what East High can do in this next game, or if Cottonwood is going to take the next game handily themselves. Go up 2-0, only need 2 more for the victory. Again, because this is a Swiss stage itself, game differential does matter a lot. So if you get a 4-0, going to go better for you to get the top of your specific division. We talked about before, 3 different divisions that are out there. You have to be the best team to make it all the way to that event in March. So a lot on the line for these teams. The way that we are seeing Cottonwood play, definitely one of the front runners that are out there that we have seen on stream so far, Blue.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, you mentioned it, the supersonic legend tag from Hydro. I wasn't expecting that at all, but hey, with Matthew being a GC2 and I believe Hydro looking at that SSL tag, they have a very strong contention in being that top 8 spot.
Well, we'll have to see exactly how this next game is going to go. I believe they're just resetting the lobby and getting the players in as best they can. And as I say that, well, here we are. We don't even have to wait much longer. Love this map. Sovereign Heights is one of those underutilized maps. Apparently the bounces are like a little bit off, but I feel like that adds to the randomness that is some of those bounces that happen in Rocket League itself. And not so random there. Fancy Hawk, the one that we talked about, leading the charge, almost getting that first goal.
I mean, a beautiful start from East High. They're trying to get that offense going. And let's see if they can continue that pressure. But Hydro going to go for that double off the corner. But no, Fancy Hawk getting that save. And it's that 1v1 situation for EP. Gets the fake, maybe a second player. But no, E-Darken is just going to get that out. And if I'm East High right here, honestly, just having that 2 offensive players just pushing into that blue net, having one back, that will be that showstopper for them. But Cottonwood, as we saw in that shot, that's scary. That is definitely scary.
Very scary, but luckily for East High, they had the read on the play. They knew exactly what they needed to do to get that away, but they also need to make sure that their backboard is defended. You can't give up that easy of a double tap to opponents of this caliber in Cottonwood High. Now we're getting to see some back and forth. A double commit might have worked out if they could continue that pressure going forward. Toasty, trying to see what he could go with, but didn't really get the flip reset he was vying on that play, so has to give it up to the Cottonwood defense.
Wow. Hydro already looking for that midfield player from Matthew, the pinch almost, but no, doesn't quite get it through that midfield. And you know, this is good from East High. I'm seeing them trying to go for these passing plays off their own side, getting it away from Cottonwood's players. Definitely a good strategy to bring that out. But as we can see here, Cottonwood is not messing around, trying to go for that shot off the corner, but not quite finding it, as well as E-Darken. But no, not again. The pressure is there for Cottonwood, but this is a huge difference where they're not finding those shots. Oh my goodness!
Oh no!
Wow, Matthew almost got the flip reset. Doesn't connect.
Oh, that was tough. But actually, I feel like he was more trying to set that up for E-Darken that we saw on that play. He saw the 2 defenders, that the flip reset, double touch, excuse me, would have gone off that backboard and run into either of those defenders. So he hit it a bit softly, set up his teammate. It was a 1-2-3 piece to get that first goal for their team. And E-Darken didn't get a single goal in that first game, so got to get him involved somehow. They want to make sure everyone has some stats to write home about. Well, Hydro, he hit the crossbar on that one, but we know this one's going in for E-Darken. 2 back-to-back goals from him.
Definitely a beautiful team play from Matthew, just trying to go for those passes to Hydro and E-Darken, and it's clearly working. They're mind gaming East High in this situation, and they're definitely going for some beautiful shots on the net.
Great work being put out by these players. Also got to give a shout out to East High. Even though they haven't gotten their first goal in this series yet, they've been trying to keep Cottonwood High scoreless. They kept them scoreless a lot longer than we saw in that first game, especially those opening shots that were coming out, very difficult to react to. The biggest thing for them, I would say, would be for players such as EPT, F4, and Toasty to spread out a little bit when they're on defense in that net. Make sure that it's not as easy for the opponents to try and put off a move like that. Hydro, how does he do it?
I don't know. He's flying through the air. He's moving, and absolutely, your point is definitely valid. They're close together in their own half, and you know, definitely giving an outlet for Fentonk to pass out to either one of those players, or having someone in the back post to help Fentonk there would truly help out their defense. But I mean, looking at Matthew, looking at Cottonwood High, it's just their speed that they're putting out. What a goal from Matthew here.
Whew. Crazy work being put on by this entire Cottonwood High team. Matthew led the charge for the previous game. This game, well, he's making sure he can take a back seat, relax, and just put in maybe the final goal. We'll see if that is going to be it based on we've had like 3 goals so far in the past, minute of play. It's been nuts to see the performance from Cottonwood High, but still waiting for that first goal from East High. I think they can do it here, Blue. It's just they got to get that possession away from Hydro, because he's the most dangerous man on the field.
That is valid. That is true, and that's a good play from right here. They got that boost from Hydro, making him go back to his own half. So this could be the start for that offense. See Darkin trying to go for the midfield. It goes directly to EPT, though. But, oh my goodness, he uses his boost very wisely. Goes for that 50-50 instead of just wasting it away. And it's just back onto this orange half. So, I mean, looking at Cottonwood High, they have that communication on deck. They're playing super team-oriented. They're playing to get it to each other and trying to get some stuff going. So, I cannot hand it quite enough to, Cottonwood High. They're playing so well. But East High, definitely, they are trying to get this ball away from their net, which is really good. They're getting those bangs. They just need to get that momentum and that communication to bring this ball out. Let's see if they can in this game here. But I want to cover a fun fact, guys. Next week, oh my God. Instead of the next week, I'm gonna talk about right now. Oh my God, the shots.
How did that not go in? The fact that was almost an own goal sort of team pinch, but defensive maneuver, and they'll take credit for that every day of the week. But again, go on with what you were saying there, Blue.
Well, next week in St. George is the 4th regional event at Utah Tech University, and students who attend the UT event will get to hear from David Hunt. If you don't know much about David Hunt, I'll cover about him later. I see Tarkin is just going to get that 5th goal.
That's crazy. I mean, that's a hat trick for E. Darkin on that, and this is just what we expect from Cottonwood High after that first game. And once we saw E. Darkin just come online, getting those first 2 goals in this one in the first half of play. But you're speaking about David Hunt, and I'll pick up where you left off on that one for anyone who wants to know about that speaker for the next regional event. He was the lead systems designer at Epic Games from March 2013 to January 2022. A long time at the company there, almost 10 years. While there, he worked on both Fortnite and Battle Breakers. Great goal from Hydro on that too, but again, so much to talk about. He was responsible for many core systems across every area, including economy, monetization, and gameplay, and a driving Epic's design side transition from retail to live service games such as Fortnite. He was also a senior designer for Star Wars: The Old Republic at BioWare, and he's one of the founding members of Noodlecat Games. After 20 years of experience as a designer at companies like Cryptic, BioWare, and nearly a decade at Epic Games, he's decided it was time to take a new challenge. So definitely recommend checking out that event and seeing how people perform, but also learning from one of the experts in the gaming industry, as we are seeing some experts in the Rocket League gaming industry put on a show for us today.
No, absolutely. Yeah, speaking about performance, East High did a little bit better in this game too. They got, at least 3 shots on the net instead of 1. So definitely an improvement to say the least from East High. However, Cottonwood truly showing their colors, getting so many goals, so many shots in the net, on the East High net. So it's going to be a tough uphill battle for East High. They really need to sit down for this next minute and just talk and figure out a game plan to be like, you know what, you go demo Hydro and then I'll go score.
I feel like the biggest difficulty for them, and especially when there's kind of a rank disparity, we've talked about that throughout the Fall Festival, but that's just bound to happen based on high school. That's the coolest thing about joining collegiate esports, and a lot of these players looking to do that in the future. That's why they're touring a lot of these colleges, is that you could actually have teammates that are kind of similar rank and trying to push themselves to the next level beyond like the academy team or a varsity team, depending on how you're feeling and how that school handles their esports program specifically. But the coolest thing about that is that that's when you get to feel out exactly how your team can mesh together. This is like your time to be like, okay, I'm going to put out a cool clip and show our tournament performance, so hopefully we can get scouted by one of these schools and be like, hey, I'm a really cool player. Look at that Cottonwood High. They're doing pretty cool things themselves, so definitely would save these VODs, save these replays, and be like, this is why you want me on your collegiate esports team. Even East High, they have some things they can work on. There's some great coaches that are out there, especially at these high schools that are putting in some work. So nice to see the adaptations we saw in that game from them. They got more shots. We actually saw Toasty get a shot and 2 from Fenciox, so 3 times as much as that first game. They just need to make sure that they can stop Hydro somehow. who's always been so aerial, but this time he's just going to put that in the back net after help from Darkin. Wow.
Yeah, no, absolutely. On that point of the collegiate esports thing, I'm a part of collegiate esports. One of the greatest things that happened to me so far. So definitely, if y'all are interested, y'all in the chat are a part of these high school esports teams, definitely check those out. Definitely go to those regional events as we're mentioning, as they will give you an insight on what types of things collegiate esports offers. But yeah, going back to this game, Hydro, definitely a menace. And I'm seeing the snow globe map here where, listen,
I like it.
We just ended Halloween. Come on, guys. We're in Christmas already. Wow.
I mean, there's been so many memes about that already with people playing Christmas music, Mariah Carey coming out of her cryogenic slumber, different things of that sort. And that's what's happening here on the field right now. We're getting some snow. Some parts of the states that are out there have snow currently, so we're just getting in the festive spirit. You can see the lights that are on the pillars as well. It's a fun time all around, but also shout out to Rocket Hockey League, who does some great stuff with I think whatever the hockey mode is called. I can't remember it right now because I don't play it myself. Snow Day, thank you. You think a Canadian would know that. But nonetheless, Cottonwood High doing some great work for themselves. 1-0 again, a lot sooner than the last game. And that's because of Hydro, who's just been putting on a clinic, dousing out the flames of East High as they try to get on offense.
And I mean, honestly, East High is doing a little bit better in this game 3, but props to Cottonwood if they get this sweep here. That game differential, as you're mentioning, it is a Swiss stage system. So, if they get that 4-0 sweep, it's definitely going to be in their favor. But Hydro controlling this ball in the air. Toasty getting a shot on the net. It's another play, but Darkin just going to get that away. A little bit awkward on the goal net, though, so could get a save. Gets that save as well. So, half the game already remaining. Only 1 goal to Cottonwood's name. So, East High still has a chance to bring this back to get that goal.
This is definitely the closest it's been at the halfway point of this series, or this game specifically. Both, actually, if we go with a 4-0 sweep based on the predictions from chat, as we were talking about before. But we almost saw Hydro try to change that as I was speaking it into existence and make it a 2-0 for them to have an even stronger lead themselves. But one thing we haven't really seen too much is Fenciok. He's been stuck at the back of the net, trying to figure out exactly where he needs to go and support his team the best possible. When you're stuck on the defensive end, it's very difficult for you to make that transition, especially when we're seeing these kind of mechanical maneuvers coming out of Cottonwood High. Once they get into the air, it's difficult for any of these players to keep up with them.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, Cottonwood, we talked about this in the beginning, just that high ball efforts, and they're no joking in terms of going into the air and finding these nets. But I mean, a minute 30, East High definitely keeping the brakes on them. They're just going for those saves. It's working out pretty well, but Fenciok away from that net could be a little bit bad as he's going. I mean, he's actually pulling out a little bit of great stuff. He's going and making sure that that ball is away from their half, and hopefully that continues. Hopefully if I can find a goal, but a minute almost remaining, and it's just great defense from Cottonwood throughout.
Great defense, great offense, great midfield. They've been doing some good work, but maybe got a bit overzealous on that play when they tried to come together and do some Ginyu Force work and power up as 2 players combined into one, but it didn't quite work out. Instead, just bounced in front of the net, out of the box, and away. Speaking of away, though, Cottonwood High have been keeping this away from East High as best as possible in the air, as I was mentioning before, but EPTF4 trying their best in a very solid look on the aerial. Probably the best one we've seen in some time from East High. Need more where that came from.
Absolutely, yeah, EPTF almost got the 50-50 dunk on it too, so hopefully he can do that once again. We'll have a one-on-one 1-1 game here, but 20 seconds remaining, and he needs to pop off soon here as this is the open opportunity they need. Toasty with a flick here. The net is almost open. 0 boost for Hydro. This could be it, but EPTF, I think, doesn't have a boost as well, and he doesn't here. So 7 seconds remaining. Definitely needs to get this ball on their cars pretty soon here, but it looks like the shot is going for Hydro, and that's going to be it for game 3.
What a way to close it out for Hydro. Kept it close. Matthew with the setup. Very difficult on the rotation and back to try and stop a play of that caliber from going in. And unfortunately, they weren't able to do it, but for the most part, they've overextended when it was necessary. When you're down by 1, there's not much time left. You have to go all out, or else you're going to be down. And as I was talking about that progress we have been seeing from East High, I know we've been talking a lot about East High, but that's just because Cottonwood High have been doing insanely so far in this series. A lot to talk about their goals, but we want to focus in on those other players that are out there. We saw 6 shots this time out of East High. Wow. So much better performance than any of the other games. And again, they double their performance from that previous game. So maybe this is the time we see that first goal from East High. Make sure they don't get completely perfect swept, because that's when a team 4-0 sweeps, not a single goal on the other side. It's possible to be our first time here at the Ken Garf Esports Fall Festival if it does happen, Blue.
If it does happen, let's see it. I mean, East High is putting up some numbers. They're gradually getting better and better. Honestly, they're just going from 1 shot to 3 shot to 6 shot. Maybe if they get this next game, they push all the way, they get that pressure. Hey, it's possible they get this, that win they need here. And I really want them to. I really want to see that that 1 game win for East High. Gotta get that for him. But Hydro is definitely an unstoppable monster. He's going everywhere on the map here.
He's crazy. I mean, looking at the stats as well. So last game, 2 saves, 2 goals, 5 shots. Pretty well. The game before that, 2 goals again, an assist, a save, and 3 shots. So doing pretty well for himself. And in the first game, he's averaged 2 goals every game. That's crazy.
Notice that.
And at least 5 shots.
Well, we all know now, at least Hydro is going to, according to the statistics, he's 100% 2 goals in each game. So let's see if he can continue that streak, or if East High can stop him here.
We will have to see if that's the case. We're back on the field, no snow in sight, so maybe that's exactly what East High needs to come out on top in this one. But what they do need is to get the ball away from Hydro, because whenever he goes up to the air, there we go. He got bumped out of the way and he can't continue forward.
Hey, there's the move. They're going for the bumps now. They're going for the plays. Just get Hydro away. And this could be a good start for them. If one player is just focused on getting Hydro off of it. Good. And a good play here coming from that midfield play. Darkin a little bit awkward on that corner play. EPT with the 50-50. And then now we're going to see Fenzehal come out of his own net. I don't even know how he got demoed here, but it looks like this ball is staying on this half. Cottonwood not putting as much pressure as they did before. Oh my goodness, a shot coming from Toasty, but it looks like it gets blocked from Hydro.
Again, another game that before we get to a minute and a half gone, we haven't seen really too much out of either side on offense. But as I say that, Matthew trying to pull off a crazy maneuver with the flip reset, wanting to bait out the defense, but they are wise as can be. They know the shots. They've downloaded the playbook of their opponents on Cottonwood High. Now they're on offense, but again, difficult for them to push too far forward. Boost management, I would think, is now the name of the game for this team. This has been a struggle with Cottonwood High. Since they're going for all these high-flying plays, they have to pick up all the boosts possible on the field.
Oh, no, what a beautiful passing play from Hydro to Matthew. Woo! That was nuts. That was nuts.
Well, he's keeping his assists up. He had at least 1 a game up to this point. 2 in the first one, 1 in the second, and at 0 in the third. Now he's got 1 on the board for himself, but crazy plays are coming out across the board from Cottonwood High. Now we got to see what East High can do. Can they get that first goal? I think they can, but they need to work together to do just that. Keep the boost up until you can make sure that you have enough to move forward. It's been a struggle for them to get out of their side, especially when they're being demoed like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, those demos from Darkin are just being apparent here. They're keeping this ball on the orange half. Matthew looking for a pass towards midfield. Actually, maybe a shot, but it's just a little bit wide, and it goes away. But you know, it's crazy. It's already half the game already over after all this action. So 1 goal to Cottonwood. Here we go. The shot coming in from Toasty, but Matthew quick to get that ball away.
Would have been nice to see from Toasty, but now you know Cottonwood High are putting the pedal to the metal. They don't want East High to score at all. They want to have this record in their record books at the end of the season. Get a perfect sweep so that they can be like, hey, Mom, I did this when I was playing some Rock League today. And they can write home about it for sure. That is a tough feat to accomplish. Even some of the best teams have been perfect swept. Oh, NRG. Anyway, East High looking to break that streak from Cottonwood High, who have kept them scoreless all this time in the first 3 games. You only have less than 2 minutes to do that.
No doubt. I mean, this is good from East High. The ball has been on that blue half a lot longer than the previous game, so they're definitely pushing it all the way. But this could be a little bit awkward for them on the defensive side. Maybe some miscommunication there, but thankfully it gets out of that awkward spot. Now Hydra going for those aerials, trying to go for that air dribble. A little bit of an awkward thing for Cottonwood as they did double commit, losing all of that boost, but there's no clear from East High to get this ball out. So hopefully we'll see something. Hydra looking for the shot on the net. It hits crossbar down. What? How does that go in?
That's crazy. Crazy to see that play be enacted. Goes off the crossbar. You'd think it might be able to bounce out, but it hit the perfect angle. He learned from Matthew. He did some trigonometry this time and was able to math it out exactly for him to get that goal. But maybe it's a little bit lucky once they hit the crossbar. Either way, they will take that to the bank and run with it. We need East High to cash out with their first goal of the series, and then some if they want to stay alive in this best of 7. I mean, they still have 2 more weeks after this of competition, plus some more games I'm sure they'll be playing off the stream itself. So still chances for them to improve their record there. But right now, the way things are going in this last minute of competition, the way Cottonwood High have been performing, it's an inevitability that they will win the end game.
Indeed, I believe that as well. I mean, we're looking at there's some good defense right now for Toasty and Fancy Hog. And that communication is there, but Darkin is just going to go look for that double. That is the most awkward bounce. Wow.
How did that happen? That is insanity to see what was going on there for the goal not to go in. Edarkin robbed, but it's okay. I mean, he's got a hat trick to write home about himself from 2 games ago. Hydra, though, he hasn't gotten the 2 goals that we expect from him, and he doesn't have much time remaining, so will he keep that streak up? He's looking for one. Gotta give it up to Matthew. Both of them are hungry for a goal, but they are going to be fulfilled with a win. Less than 3 seconds ago. No chance to come back if they can keep it alive. They can't get that goal. It's all up to EBTH4, but no! He gets the flip, almost gets the touch. It touches down, and the perfect sweep is enacted. Our first one at the Ken Garf Esports Fall Festival, at least on the stream.
Wow, that is beautiful to see. Cottonwood, perfect sweep. That I haven't seen that live before, so perfect. You know, awesome performance from Cottonwood, and just at the end there, if EPT got that goal, that would have been really cool, but just a little miss. But there we go. Cottonwood is the winner. Congratulations to them, and hopefully East High goes for those replays again throughout these next 2 weeks and just looks at how Cottonwood functions and maybe brings that revenge at the March 10th event.
Yeah, and also speaking of different events that are going on, our final regional event for the Ken Garf Esports Fall Festival will be on November 18th at the University of Utah. So good luck to all who will be playing during that event, and also the ones that'll be coming up in the future as well. Final shout outs from us, Blue. Where can people find you? What can we expect next from you, as this might potentially be our last broadcast for the Fall Festival?
Potentially. Hopefully it's not, but we'll see. So for me, I'm going to be on Twitter at Blue Blazing as here, as well as on Twitch, Blue Blazing. I'm going to be competing in an Omega Strikers tournament soon in the next 2 weeks. So
ooh, I heard about that.
Definitely look at that soon. And what else? I am going to be at the Valorant Finals for the Red Bull Campus Clutch. If you ever want to come and meet and greet, definitely will be there too.
Well, speaking of meet and greets, I'll be at DreamHack Atlanta as one of the creators. So if you're going there, well, say hi to me. I'll be walking the floor doing a panel on esports commentary. So if you want to learn more about what we're doing here, definitely recommend it, checking that out. And also, I'll be tomorrow casting Shopify Rebellion. Hopefully they can make the major, but they got to win it all this weekend for the RLCS. So definitely recommend looking into that, and at Vaudable on all the socials. But with that out of the way, make sure you follow this channel for some more Ken and Garf Esports Fall Festival and soon Spring Festival action as well. But that is us signing off for the night. We'll see you next time.
Esports is more than just gaming.
It's just a really good way to meet new people who are interested in the same thing as you.
It gives them a good sense of sportsmanship and teamwork.
The big goal with Ken Garf Esports is to introduce these students to industry. We want to show them that they can take their interest and passion and turn it into future opportunity.
And it's open to everyone. Encourage students to sign up for Ken Garf Esports today. To learn more about success in education and coding programs, visit SIEUtah.org.
Did you know that the average teenager spends nearly 7.5 hours on their phone every day? In that time, you could watch a 2-hour movie almost 5 times in a row, or ride a roller coaster at a theme park 45 times, or fly to Hawaii and swim for an hour. You can make the best use of those 7.5 hours by spending 5 minutes of your day on the Keys to Success app. Keys to Success is a mobile app and website that rewards you for exploring your future. See you soon!